In this video tutorial, I'm gonna be showing you how to assemble petal number 2, which is very easy. That's one of the reasons why I have this combo or collection of paper flower designs that I put together, in order for you to have an easy selection just in case you wanted to make a paper flower wall. So this is part of the combo, and basically this is an optional flower if you want to create like a fiercey texture on your wall. But if you want to maintain like a plain soft and curl textures, you can omit this. But I just really wanted to show you a quick tutorial of how this petal number 2 is made. And if you are going to buy this combo, this is already laid out perfectly in the same exact size, so you don't have to worry about sizing. But it's not an individual template, it's like 3 size templates all at once. So this is not the template that you can size to any size you want. So this is exactly made for an A4. So this 16 inches flower only consumes 6 pieces of 8.5 by 11 inches cardstock. And you might wonder how it's possible. Well, as I said, I already lay it out for you. You don't have to worry. So it goes like this. If you are using PDF, you can lay the petals out to your sheets and just trace it, and then just trace 2 sheets, and each sheet put 2 empty paper and cut 3 sheets at a time. So as I said, this is very easy. The reason why I'm putting this and I included this into the paper flower wall collection, and at the same time it only consumes 6 pieces of cardstock for a 15 to 16 inches flower. And we are using a flat center, which is part of, there's gonna be an option that all you can buy are all just petals, and at the same time there are options that you can buy including 3 different centers and 4 different leaves and a butterflies that would basically make up the entire look of your paper flower wall. So these are 3 different sizes, and if you buy the combo with the center, it's already laid out in an A4, which has, in every sheet of this metallic paper, if you're using the 3 layers, you can use 1 sheet for two flowers. So let me see if I still have the cutout so I can show you. So this is part of the choices that you can make. Like, it's already laid out this way, so you don't have to worry about the sizing. There are 2 large, 2 medium, and 2 small. So when you are going to make centers, 1 sheet of this gold paper can cover 2 flowers. So let's start. I already pre-cut my petals. This is gonna be a medium size flower, and on this medium size I also have like small, medium, and large sizes of petals. 3 layers of petals in this flower. And in this flower I'm using 6 petals in each layer. So basically just, you know, the normal number of petals that I'm using in all my flowers. And also we're gonna use a medium-sized base, which is a 4 inches circle. And I have some video tutorial. I have some questions about the attachment that I put on my listing. The attachment of the base is in PDF that they cannot upload on their Cricut. And there is a tutorial that I make, and I'll be uploading it, you know, simply public. When you are subscribed to my channel, you can get an access of it. Basically, I show in that tutorial how you can obtain, you know, the bases for free. So it's basically, it's in Cricut. You don't really have to buy it. But I am making the base especially for those people who doesn't have machines to cut their flowers. So here's the 4 inches base, and we also need the hook. This is like a pipe cleaner that I cut in quarter. This is just 1/4 of 1 strip. And let's start. So what we need to do is, in every layer, let's try to part it in 2, which is 3 petals in each group, and then simply fold it in half and apply some pressure. And there you have it. The way how I do it, to ensure that it's really on the center, I try to meet the base and the edge, and from there I'm just applying pressure on it. So we have our layer 1, and let's do the same thing with layer 2. Like so. And layer 2 is done. I'm just trying to make sure that my video is running, because it happened to me that I get into almost completed my tutorial only to find out that my video wasn't even running. So down to my 3rd layer, 3 petals at a time. So now we created the texture in the middle. So the next thing we need to do is just to cut a slit in line with the fold, and one of the paper flower principle, the outermost layer has the deepest most cut slit, and as you go inward, which is smaller, your slit will become shallower, like so. And our final and the smallest layer. So in this flower design, you have an option. I mean, this particular tutorial, I will just be showing, you know, just this way of putting up a flower. But you can basically curl the sides and also add more texture on it. So it's all up to you. So I'm just gonna go ahead and put the flaps together. This is how flat I want this outer layers be, and I'm gonna glue the flap together, all 6 of them in the same manner. So you see, you want to maintain the same distance since that's the advantage of cutting it all together. You know that you have the same depth of slit. So maintaining the same distance in gluing your flaps together would ensure that you have the same upright standing of your petals. So 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So that's our first layer. Let's move on to our second layer. And again, we wanted to maintain the same depth for this 6 petals on the second layer. So see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and to my third one. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So our flaps are glued together. So let's work on putting it on the base. And when you are going to choose of curling on the side, it will give a more softer look in it, which is great, but that's not my, that's not the kind of texture that I want for this flower. So basically what I'm trying to tell you is that it doesn't mean that I'm just making this tutorial and you are limited to the kind of flower that I'm making. You can experiment, you can fold it inward or inward this way, or just curl it outside. It's really all up to you how you want your flower would look like. So what I'm trying to achieve here is just, as I said, like the fierce look of this flower to add different texture on my paper flower wall. So let's work on putting the petals on the base. And if you are going to use this flower just for your paper flower wall, you don't have to put a hook on it. But if you are going to just hang it around among with few other flowers, it's necessary to put a hook on it so it's easy to hang. So the way how I, you know, place my petals on a base, especially if it's a round one, it's easier for a hexagonal one. But hexagonal one, it's good for the beginner, and for me, I work much faster with a circular one. So whatever suits for you. So I'm just putting a dab of glue, like half of this petal here, and then I glue it atop where the hook is. So that's my first petal. And moving on to my second petal, the same thing I'm doing, just dabbing a glue on, you know, half of the petal base. And the reason why I do that, because on our third and fourth layer, we are gonna sneak our petals, you know, into our previous ones, so we can achieve like an alternating one side of the petal atop of the other. So as long as we already achieve, you know, the distance and the distribution of petals around our circular base, we can then make sure holding it on the side, and then just sneak some glue behind and secure it. The same thing with this other petal. So for me, it's easier. I mean, it's challenging at first, but easier this way. So now that you have your two other petals here, we can now secure this other side of the petals that we left, you know, without a glue. So the same thing with this other one, since it's open, we can just easily sneak our fifth and sixth petals in between. So just hold it tight and sneak a glue underneath and secure it. And if it moves, just bring it back to where you positioned it before and glue it. So first layer is done. Let's move on to our second layer. And because we are using flat center, we're going to make an effort to really move inward, so we don't have to worry about, you know, showing off a big portion of white that the base of our flat center may not be able to cover. So the same thing with the first two, I'm just putting a glue like half of the base, like so. And because we already have an idea, like we are placing the petals in between the two previous ones, we don't have to worry about putting two petals at a time. All we need is just to put another half glue on the base, and so we can sneak, you know, one petals on top of the other. So now we can secure the sides that we left, you know, unglue, and we can proceed to our two remaining petals for this layer. And securing the sides that's not properly glued. Now we're down to our third layer, and we wanted to make sure that we are going to leave as tiny portion of white at the center as possible because we're using a flat center. But if we're using a flappy center, which is more fuller, we can basically just move, you know, the petals out and maintain a larger portion of center, so it's not gonna be tight when we're putting our flappy center. So basically there are really lots of factors that you need to consider in making your paper flower, the placement of your petal, and then how you move inward with your base. So we're almost done. And we made it. So now we can put our 3 layers of centers. So we have let's place the large first, and we don't need to do anything but just to glue it, you know, and cover the white portion as much as we can. And if we really cannot cover it all, you know, before putting a glue, just check it first if the largest would be able to cover it sufficiently. If not, cut a portion of the same color paper, around one that would cover the center before placing your centers. With our second layer, to give it a dimension, we're going to flap it upward, and then we can glue it into our first layer. And into our third one. Just glue it. Okay, so here you go, people. This is petal number 2. Very easy to use, very efficient when it comes to usage of paper, and it gives a different texture, you know, comparing it with the other curl ones. So it gives different variety. Your wall would become more interesting with this kind of texture on your wall. Plus it's easy to make. So I hope you guys like this tutorial. Until next time, bye.